Title combatant McLaren's Oscar Piastri says that his off-track relationship with teammate Lando Norris has not fallen apart in the heat of their battle for the crown, with both able to let things go. Piastri, who led the drivers' standings for most of the season, 189 days, is now 24 points behind Norris heading into the final triple header. But the Australian told official podcast Beyond the Grid that there's no anguish in the garage, as what happens on track generally stays there.
It's probably in a better place than it ever has been, and I think we're both the kind of people that what happens on track stays on track. There's no kind of maybe there's short-lived emotions off the track, but I think we're both quite good at just letting things die down and again leaving things on the track.
Tickets for next year's Mexico City Grand Prix have already sold out, with the Latin nation ramping up celebrations for Sergio Perez's full-time return to the grid with F1 startup Cadillac. The event has gone through 3 ticketing phases, from pre-sale through to general sale, with organizers also allowing certain 2026 ticket holders to retain their seats in 2027 and 2028 when their respective sales open. 2025's event, which was dominated by McLaren's Lando Norris, was sold out, with over 400,000 fans attending for the 3rd straight year, though Checo's absence could explain the 3,632 fewer people than 2024. Perez is already gunning for his F1 return, with the Mexican in action last week at Italian track Imola in an all-black Ferrari SF23, which marked his first run in a Grand Prix car since 2024. Announcements on Red Bull's 2026 driver lineups may have to wait until after the season, says Racing Bull's boss Alan Bearman, with both teams fighting for crucial spots in the constructors' standings. Top team Red Bull Racing heads to Las Vegas battling Mercedes for the runner-up spot, while Racing Bulls is pulling out all the stops to retain its 6th place against Aston Martin, Haas and Sauber. The financial implications of those battles is therefore holding back news, though rookie Isaac Hadjar is expected to be promoted to Red Bull's top team alongside Max Verstappen. The remaining battle is at Racing Bulls, where 3 drivers, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, and Red Bull Junior Arvid Lindblad, are gunning for 2 seats. But final confirmation will have to wait. We just want to have some stability, and that may well go on right until the end of the season, Bearman said. So you may not find out until Monday morning after Abu Dhabi. Formula One commentator Alex Jakes says Haas's Oliver Bearman has what it takes to be Ferrari's next pilot, amid massive pressure on the top team's current drivers to deliver 2nd in the Constructors' title. Bearman has made the most of Haas's recent updates, becoming the team's first driver to score points in 4 straight races, with a career-best 4th in Mexico, followed by 6th in Brazil. But Jakes told official podcast F1 Nation that there's likely far more in store for the young Brit, including a move to Maranello.
I think for sure. Honestly, I think what he's done in the last few races, he's showing week in, week out, different types of circuit. Was disappointed to be P8 on the grid yesterday because he believed the top 5 was there. How quickly the expectations change, but Haas believe he's capable of it, and so does he.
The FIA has confirmed that Mohammed bin Sulayem is the only eligible candidate in next month's presidential election. The FIA's rules state candidates must nominate a 10-person team as part of their application, including 7 vice presidents from an approved list and representation required from 6 regions. But the current approved 29-person list has just 1 representative from South America, Fabiana Eccleston, wife of former Supremo Bernie, who serves as a vice president to bin Sulayem. This rule has precluded potential rivals from standing against him, like Laura Villas, Virginie Philippot, and former steward Tim Mayer, who was sacked by the UAE native. With Villas taking further action in the French courts, where she will have her complaint heard before the election. F1's power brokers have abandoned the idea of having 2 mandatory pit stops at every Grand Prix from 2026, following concerns that teams might end up with almost identical strategies. Teams had hoped for more 2-stop races this year after Pirelli went aggressive with its compounds, while Monaco's mandatory 2-stop race had mixed results. Qatar ahead will have conditions, with Pirelli limiting sets to just 25-lap stints due to excessive wear on its 2024 tyres. But Williams boss James Vowles says mandating stops in general isn't likely to work. My biggest worry would be that we end up all of us doing the same strategy to within a lap of each other, he said. Mercedes has overtaken McLaren as Formula One's most valuable team, following news that co-owner Toto Wolff is now in advanced talks to sell a reported 5% of his shares in a deal that values the Silver Arrows at $6 billion. McLaren made headlines back in September when its racing division was valued at $4.1 billion. After the sale of a 30% stake that put both it and the McLaren Group under the full ownership of Bahrain's sovereign wealth fund Mumtalakat and CYVN Holdings. But Mercedes has now upped the ante in light of Wolff's intention to sell a small portion of his 1/3 shareholding. The Austrian will remain CEO and team principal following the expected transaction. All-female series F1 Academy will continue to foster young talent, with all of 2026's 11 teams, including startup Cadillac, committing to support a livery and driver as part of a multi-year deal. F1 Academy came to life in 2023 following the demise of W Series, with a focus on driver development, and from 2024 has featured exclusively on the undercard at selected Grand Prix weekends. F1 Academy's season finale will be held this weekend in Las Vegas, with a maiden crown in sight for standings leader, Prema's Dorian Pan, who is just 9 points up on Maya Woog. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.